Trump said he was thrilled to announce the U.S. 4.1% GDP growth rate for Q2. "We are on track to hit the highest annual growth rate in over 13 years, said Trump. "As the trade deals come in one by one, we're going to go a lot higher than these numbers. And these are great numbers." Trump forged a trade agreement at the White House on Wednesday with European Commissioner Jean-Claude Juncker that included not only promises to work toward a zero tariffs, zero non-tariff barriers, zero subsidies on non-auto industrial goods trade deal, but also that Juncker committed the EU to begin immediately purchasing more U.S. soybeans, an industry facing retaliatory tariffs from other nations like China. Trump forged a trade agreement at the White House on Wednesday with European Commissioner Jean-Claude Juncker that included not only promises to work toward a zero tariffs, zero non-tariff barriers, zero subsidies on non-auto industrial goods trade deal, but also that Juncker committed the EU to begin immediately purchasing more U.S. soybeans, an industry facing retaliatory tariffs from other nations like China. He pointed out that over the previous two administrations the U.S. averaged a meager 1.8% GDP growth. By contrast, we are now on track to hit an average GDP annual growth of over 3% and it could be substantially over 3%, said Trump. Each point, by the way, means approximately $3 trillion and 10 billion jobs, said Trump. It doesn't sound like much, it's a lot. If economic growth continues at this pace, the United States economy will double in size more than 10 years faster than it would have under either President George W. Bush or President Barack Obama, President Trump continued. Perhaps one of the biggest wins in the report. Is that the trade deficit, very dear to my heart because we've been ripped off by the world, has dropped by more than $50 billion, $52 billion to be exact, said Trump. That's adding 1 point to GDP. That's a tremendous drop. By increasing growth to 3% over the next 10 years, that would mean 12 million new American jobs and $10 trillion of new American wealth, at least, said the president. That's not including the fact that since I was elected we've created approximately $7 trillion of new wealth. The year before I came into office, private business investment grew at only 1.8% last year and jumped to 6.3%. And this year it's growing at 9.4%, Trump noted. There hasn't been an increase like that in many, many years, decades. Trump then said that the most important thing, something confirmed to him by White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow and economic advisor Kevin Hassert, these numbers are very, very sustainable. This isn't a one-time shot. I happen to think we're going to do extraordinarily well in our next report, next quarter, said Trump. When I came into office 1.5 million fewer prime-aged Americans were working than 8 years before, said Trump. We had lost almost 200,000 manufacturing jobs under the previous administration. He said manufacturing jobs are not obsolete, but rather, they're the greatest jobs we have. More than 10 million additional Americans had been added to food stamps past years, but we've turned it all around, said Trump. Once again we are the economic envy of the entire world, said President Trump, who cited the words of other world leaders. When I meet the leaders of countries, the first thing they say invariably is Mr. President, so nice to meet you, congratulations on your economy, you're leading the entire world. America is being respected again and America is winning again because we are finally putting America first, he added. We have added 3.7 million new jobs since the election. A number that is unthinkable if you go back to the campaign. Nobody would have said it. Nobody would have even in an optimistic way projected it.